So I'm thinking about humanity's evolution, and I think I've decided that humanity is still evolving and humanity will change fundamentally in ways that are difficult to imagine. I think that we'll get bigger brains and more complex brains over time. I also think it might be possible we'll get an extra finger, or possibly maybe the little finger will become more usable. It will grow and become more capable. So I'm thinking now that we will evolve physically in some ways, principally an increase in brain size, I think. But also I'm thinking that artificial intelligence is possibly, maybe, probably the way we will proceed. We will interface with machines more directly. Um, I don't know if it will be as simple as cutting into the head and placing in some kind of module, some kind of computing module to interface directly with the brain. I don't know if it will go to that extent, but somehow the human brain will interface with computing far more directly than has happened up to now. I think that that's the way we're heading. We want to interface with electronics far more directly. I use a mobile phone, for example, and it's become a very important part of my life. I use it frequently, and I always want to know where it is. And there are so many purposes I put it to. I regard it as an essential part of me, basically. So, and that's a mobile device with a certain amount of power, limited memory. So its utility is limited, but it's still, I would say, an essential part of my life now. So I'm thinking that as things progress, we will look to incorporate the features of our mobile phone directly into our bodies. We will proceed down a line of interfacing directly with the electronics. Now, I've considered how we might develop biologically. I've thought that we might get bigger brains over time. We might get an extra finger over time. And bigger brains will be more complex brains as well, larger memory, higher processing power. But I'm wondering if electronics and artificial intelligence is a more likely route, a more useful route to go. I suspect it might be the case because of time mainly. The biological changes that would be necessary to get increased brain power would take hundreds of thousands of years, I'd imagine. Maybe millions of years. But the changes that could come into place with electronics could be really short periods of time. So I don't know whether it's what's the word, feasible, or if it's correct to regard the incorporating of electronics into our brains as evolution. I don't know if it could be regarded in that way. but I do think that we will incorporate electronics into our brain power far more directly over time. I use my mobile phone frequently, and it has become a very important part of my what's the word, of my intellect, of my brain power. It's a part of how I think and how I remember things, how I do research, how I calculate things. It's very much an extension of me. And I think that as we go forward, there will come a time when we want to interface directly with electronics, where we want to have some kind of plug-in module to our brains that we will make use of. The practicalities of it are a bit mysterious to me right now, but I am pretty sure that we will look to interface with electronics more directly going forward. It's possible it will be some kind of wireless interface with electronics, maybe some kind of sensor reading our brainwaves and then turning those brainwaves into commands going into a device. There'll be something that will enable the direct interface of a brain to a computer. I'm fairly certain that that's the way we'll go, because our increasing need to interface with computers seems to make that likely, and there will be someone who creates a system, a device, whatever, to enable the human brain to directly interface with electronics. I do think it's bound to happen, and possibly someone's working on it now, for all I know. So it's 2020 now. I'm thinking maybe by 2040 we will have some system that will enable the brain to directly interface with electronics. And things will move on from there.